everyone, it's Meg and welcome to another reading vlog. So today I'm doing another reading vlog that is for a specific book, and that book is going to be Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. And this is a very popular book on BookTube, and I picked it up in a charity shop last year, and I am in the mood to read a fantasy, which is weird because I do not read fantasy. I have this and Strange Dreamer are the only other fantasy books I have on my TBR, like physically, that I own, and I'm in the mood to read it. So I thought I would do a reading vlog, seeing as this is the 5th fantasy book I have read. I think it's only the 5th fantasy book I've ever read, and I'm really interested to see my thoughts, and I thought I would document it because obviously it's a popular book and I want to see what I think and just take you guys along with the journey whilst I read it. So the last reading vlog I did for a specific book was for The Upside of Falling by X Light, and you may see that I'm in the same outfit, in the same setup for one of the last clips, and that's because I've literally just filmed one of the last clips for that reading vlog, but I'm really in the mood to read and not take too much of a break in between picking up the two books. So I'm going to pick this up fairly soon. I'm just going to do the intro clip now, and this is a chunker of a book. It is just over 500 pages and I haven't read a book that long in a while. So this is going to be interesting, and also the text is rather small, so it's going to be fun. But I have actually read the first chapter of this a while ago when I did a try chapter tag video, but I'm not sure I'm going to end up putting it up because I did it a while ago and it's just not very good. Like, the lighting was rubbish and I just did it last minute, but when I read the first chapter it really intrigued me and it sucked me in straight away, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get through this a lot quicker than I thought I would, because I have been on a roll with my reading recently, so hopefully it's going to be the same with this. So that is the plan. So I don't know if I'm going to start this absolutely straight away, but I've just been watching Animal Crossing journal videos whilst I have been finishing my last book, so I might do the same with this. But yeah, just thought I would do the little intro for this, and I hope you guys enjoy this vlog. I'm very interested to see what I think of this book and see if I like it as much as everybody else does. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to start reading straight away. I do kind of want to, but I don't know, we'll see. So I'm either going to take a break and do something else and finish up the video that I just about to finish filming, or I'm going to start reading. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this reading vlog, and let's get to reading. Hello and happy Tuesday, forgot about that. So it's the next day and I started Children of Blood and Bone last night, and I read a bit this morning, and I'm on chapter 4, which is page 47, and I don't have too many opinions so far, obviously because I just started it, but I am at the moment finding it kind of confusing, I guess because obviously they're set in the world and set in the scene, and also because I feel like it's a lot like this when it comes to books that deal with myths or kind of different cultures. They tend to use a lot of words or names for characters which I don't know how to pronounce, so I don't know how to pronounce them in my head, and that makes it a lot harder for me to kind of get engaged with the book and get invested in the story because I don't know how to pronounce the words. So I feel like that's where an audiobook would come in helpful, because obviously the narrator knows how to pronounce the words correctly. But I don't think the audiobook for this book is on Scribd, so I'm going to have to just stick through reading it, which is fine. I'll kind of get the hang of it as I get into it. But yeah, I'm sure everything will kind of make more sense as I get further into the book, because really the story's only just starting, even though there has been a fair amount of action so far. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how I can get along with this. I don't know how fast I'm going to read it, because like I said, I feel like this is the first high fantasy book I've read, because I've read the Caraval trilogy, which is fantasy, but I don't feel like it's quite as high fantasy as this. Like, I could be totally wrong. I'm a total fantasy beginner, so like, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, still I find it a bit confusing at the moment, but I can't really judge this book yet because I'm not very far into it, so I'm looking to hopefully make some good progress today, maybe reach page 100 or nearly 100, kind of around that mark would be really good, because obviously I got a lot of time whilst I'm reading this because we're only allowed to go outside once a day at the moment, so fun times. But yeah, so I'm going to go and have some lunch now, and then afterwards I'm probably going to read a bit more, and then hopefully I will update you guys a bit later on, and I will kind of have a bit more of understanding of the world and start to be more engaged in the story. So it is Wednesday night. I nearly forgot what day it was then, and I have slowly been making progress with Children, Blood and Bone. I'm on page 121, and I feel a bit unsure about what to think about this book because, like I said before in this video, I do not really read a lot of fantasy, and like I also said, this is high fantasy. I don't think I've read a high fantasy book before, and obviously my previous thoughts before, I'm still trying to figure out what I think about this book. Obviously I don't really have anything to compare this book to. I've only read 4 fantasy books in the past, and they are different from this. Obviously they're different. I don't think they are high fantasy compared to this one, and I don't know, it's very dark. I feel like, well, to be honest with you, most fantasies are dark. It's just something that I'm not used to, and I guess I'm just trying to figure out what I think of it and like my feelings on it, because obviously, like I said, this is extremely out of my comfort zone. But I also feel like I struggle to concentrate when I'm reading this. It's not that I'm not engaged, but I just kind of don't feel the urge to read it like I do with other books that I have read previously. I don't feel like that urge to be constantly wanting to read it. Like, I want to get through this. Like, this book really intrigues me and I do want to continue reading it. I'm not bored by it or anything. I feel like I'm still trying to get used to the writing style as well. It's not quite clicking with me yet, but we're just going to keep going and see what happens. I really want to try and finish this by the end of next week at the latest, because like I'm really looking forward to my next read as well. But hopefully this book will grow on me as I keep on reading it and change my mind, because like I said, I'm still trying to get grasps with like the writing and the world and everything at the moment. So hopefully if I get a bit more into it, I will start to enjoy it a little bit more. So it is Friday now, and I have been very slowly making my way through this because I didn't update you guys yesterday, and I have slowly been making progress. So I am on page 191 now, which is chapter 22, and I feel like I am slowly starting to get into the book more and enjoy it slightly more. I've kind of just passed a bit where there was a lot of mythology in the book. Like, it tells you a lot about the mythology, like the gods and the goddesses of the world, of the culture. I can't remember, is it like African culture? African mythology, I think. Like, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really know like a lot about the mythology and stuff of this book, but we learned a lot about the mythology, which was really interesting, as I always loved learning about mythology, especially Greek mythology, when I was in primary school. So it was really interesting to read about different type of culture, and I feel like I am getting into the story more, which is good. My attention span still isn't great, but I'm like getting into a bit more, which is good, even though it's taken me like, you know, nearly 200 pages, but we're getting there slowly. And I must admit, I'm not desperately connected to any of the characters. At the moment, there is 3 perspectives in this book, and my least favourite character is Inan, and I don't know why. He just really irritates me, because to a certain extent you feel sorry for him because of his situation, and he's kind of fighting between what his heart is saying and what his father wants him to do, and he's kind of toying back and forth with that. But at the same time, like, I'm just not a fan, you know, just like not a massive fan, and I'm not a massive fan of any of the other our main characters really. So I don't know, it might change as we get into the story a bit more, but I just don't feel very connected to either of any of them at the moment. I feel more connected to the smaller characters. I seem to like the characters that have a smaller part at the moment, but you know. So yeah, I'm hoping I will definitely get to page 200 by today. I want to try and make a good amount of progress because I have some books coming at some point, maybe today, between like this week and next week. I hopefully have some books coming in the post, which will be very exciting. So yeah, we're making our way through, and I'm glad that I'm kind of getting into the story a bit more because it's taken me a while, and I think just because it's such a new concept and I've never read a book with such an intricate world that it's just taken me a while to adjust and kind of decide on what I think about this book so far, but I'm getting into it a bit more, which is good. So yeah, I'm going to try and do a reasonable amount of reading today, past page 200, and hopefully by tomorrow I will be halfway through. So now I'm going to go and do a bit of work because I managed to start doing a bit of work today, yesterday even, which was good. So I'm going to do a little bit more work and then I will get to some reading, and hopefully I will be around halfway through this book by the time I next update you guys. Wow, this lighting is really bad, but you know, like always, we are just going to work with it. So it is Saturday now, and I have spent the majority of my afternoon reading, and I have finally been making more progress. I am over halfway through now. I am on page 359, so I have less than 200 pages left, which is very exciting, and I have still been enjoying it. Like, I feel like a lot has happened since I last updated you guys. Like, I've read like I'd like to say over 100 pages roughly since I last updated you, which for an afternoon for me is quite a lot, but I have been enjoying it, and like there's stuff that has been happened like between the characters, like a lot of action has happened, and kind of people take it like vision, like views on stuff has changed, and I'm growing to like the characters, our main characters, a bit more. I feel like my main character is Tazane. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He doesn't have a perspective in this, but he is one of the main characters, as he is Zeely, I think that's how you say her name, her older brother, and I like him the most. And Amari is probably one of my least favourite, or she was at any rate, especially in a scene that kind of happened about halfway through the book. She's just a little bit pathetic, but I guess there's a reasoning behind that. But yeah, I am enjoying it more, and I like the bit that I'm on at the moment. Obviously it's probably all going to change very soon, but I love the world, I must admit. Like, they're in like a forest area now, and it just, the way they describes it, it just seems absolutely beautiful. So I feel like that's probably my favourite part at the moment, kind of about the world building and how intricate everything is, because obviously I've finally got a grasp on this. So I'm going to read as much as possible this evening and tomorrow. I'd love to finish this tomorrow. I could finish it because I'd like to film another reading vlog starting from Monday, but I don't know, we'll see. So I'm actually going to go and have a bath now and chill and read a bit more. Must admit, I have actually started a new audiobook, which is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, I think, and I'm only a couple of chapters in because I was really tired last night, so I didn't want to read, so I just sat and listened. I've picked up a new audiobook and I'm really enjoying it so far because it's just a little bit easier to read than fantasy, obviously because it's a adult romance and it's contemporary, but I'm really enjoying it. But I'm going to try and do a bit more reading in the bath. I don't know if I'll get to page 100 this evening. I feel like I just need to take a bit more of a break from reading, but I'm still going to try and read some more and have a bath and chill, and then hopefully I will be making some decent progress, and I may finish it tomorrow, but that's probably going to be quite a stretch, so we're just going to see how it goes. So it is actually a couple of days later now. It is Wednesday, and I haven't updated you guys in a few days because, like you will have seen, I read quite a lot on Saturday, and I got to the point where, you know, reading so much just kind of fuzzies your brain and you're not so far off, like, not a book hangover, kind of like a book slump, but not, you know what I mean? Just that feeling after you've read too much. So because I pushed myself a bit too much to read. But I took a total break. I didn't read anything at all on Sunday, but I started reading again on Monday, and I have made a lot of progress. I am on page 504, which is chapter 81, and I've got around 20 pages left. So I feel like I will definitely be able to finish it today, and like I have been enjoying it a lot more. I feel like by the end of this video I'm going to rate this book due to enjoyment and enjoyment alone, because like I said, I don't have much to compare this book to. I don't really read fantasy, especially high fantasy, so this is like a totally new experience for me, but I have definitely been enjoying it more, and I'm not blown away by it, I must admit, even though like I said I don't have much to compare to. But other books, it's just I don't have a constant compel to read it, but I have obviously been getting to it more the further I get into the book, so yes. And I've also been enjoying the characters more. I wasn't really a fan of the majority of our main characters. Tzain is definitely my favourite, even though he doesn't have a perspective, but he's probably still my favourite. But yeah, I'm going to finish this at some point today, so I will update you guys next time, probably when I do finish it, and I will give you my final thoughts. Okay, so I've just finished Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. So much happened in those last 20 pages, and that cliffhanger though, like, oh my goodness, like, what? I did not expect what happened in the ending to happen, if that makes sense. Like, people died who I wasn't expecting them to die, and other stuff happened, and just like I kind of need to find out what happens. So I don't know, I may pick up the sequel, but I probably won't pick it up until the paperback comes out, because obviously we won't match it. I get why people think that this book is so good in the factor of like the cliffhanger, but wow. So that was my first experience of reading a high fantasy book, and it was definitely a whirlwind. I am just kind of like in shock a little bit. It was an experience, and I'm suffering from it now. So whilst I recover, I might as well give you guys like my full thoughts on my reading experience, because let's be honest, it's definitely been a ride. So like I said, this is like my 4th fantasy book that I've ever read, and it took me a while to get into it. It's my first high fantasy book that I've ever read, so I don't have anything to compare it to really. It took me nearly 200 pages to like properly get into it, and I guess it's because obviously there's so much world building. This world that Tomi Adeyemi's created is so intricate and detailed, it is insane. And it took me a while to kind of get grasp of all the different elements and kind of just the whole world in general, but once I kind of got the hang of it, it made me a bit more comfortable reading this. And I liked the characters. I wasn't a massive fan of the majority of our main characters. I feel like the one that I liked the most was Tzain and I guess Seeley. I don't know, I wasn't a fan of most of them really who had a main perspective in this book. I wasn't really a massive fan of any of them. But the thing I probably love most about this book is the mythology. Like, I love learning about different sorts of mythology, especially when it's kind of intertwined with a novel as well. I find that really interesting, so that's probably my favourite part of the book. And there were definitely so many twists and turns, and that just definitely kept me on the edge of my seat. I was never bored reading this book, and I did end up enjoying it a lot more than I thought. Well, I wouldn't say a lot more than I thought I would, but I did end up enjoying it once I kind of fully got into the book, which was really good. So I feel like I'm going to rate this book on how much I enjoyed it, because like I said, I don't really have anything to compare it to because I don't really read fantasy. So I think I'm either going to give this a 3.5 or a 3.75 out of 5 stars, which isn't bad. It still means that I enjoyed it. I guess it's just because this whole genre is so new to me that I don't really know what fully to think, and the book didn't blow me away, apart from the ending, but like as a whole the book didn't blow me away, but I did still end up enjoying it, and I'm glad I ended up enjoying it because it's a book I've been curious about for a while, because obviously so many people love this book, and even though it's not a genre that I am really into, I wanted to give it a go and see what I thought, and now you guys have come along with the experience, and we have experience reading this together, even though most of you probably read this book if you are watching this video. So I hope you enjoyed the video of me reading my first high fantasy novel. Like I said, definitely experience, and I may or may not pick the sequel up, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I know it's out now, but like I said, I wanna, if I do pick it up, I will either read it out of the library once the libraries reopen, or I will get the paperback, because I feel like it's only out in hardback at the moment, but that probably won't be for a while yet, because I'm definitely returning to my safe place, my contemporary, for the foreseeable future. So yeah, I'm looking forward to diving back into my contemporary, but I'm glad I finally got to read this book and see what all the fuss was about, and even though I didn't love it as much as everybody else, like, I still found it a very enjoyable read, and hopefully I will pick up the sequel at some point in the future. If you guys like these sorts of videos, I will have had another video go up before this, which is a vlog where I read another book. It's a contemporary book, and like a review slash reading vlog specifically on one book. If you would like me to do more of those, then give this video a thumbs up and comment down below any books that you would specifically like me to do videos on. I don't think I have any more planned at the moment for specific books, but we will see. I might end up picking another one up, but and doing a specific video. I'd love to do more like this, but yeah. Let me know if you want me to do these sorts of videos more in the future on one specific book, and obviously leave your suggestions in the comments if you have any specific book you would like me to do this video for. If you like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more bookish videos from me, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and little bell icon so you'll be noted every time I post a new video. As always, I will leave links to my social media along with the links to my Goodreads in the description down below for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!